Hello everyone, my name is Robin and I'm guided today to do a reading on how to surrender to transformation. This can be any kind of transformation, spiritual, a transformation of your thought patterns, of your, letting your emotions flow through you and, transforming those emotions into something more helpful to you by feeling them, acknowledging them, and letting them become what they need to be and go through you. Or it can be a transformation of your body, a transformation of your life, just some kind of deep transformative change in you that is happening either now when you're watching this reading or in the near future. So I'm going to start by asking you to pick a pile. The first pile we have the Modern Witch Tarot. The second is the Wild Unknown Tarot. And then the third is the Mother Peace Tarot. So go ahead and choose now. And we will get to your readings. Hello, Pile 1. Today we're going to be seeing how you can surrender to transformation. A positive transformation, in all likelihood, or that is my intention. Even transformations that can seem difficult, changes that maybe we wish that we didn't have to make, or or that come upon us suddenly, that are strange and confusing to navigate through, even those can be positive. So let's get to your reading of how can Pile 1 surrender to transformation in their life. And what sort of transformation would it be that they are looking forward to, or that they are in right now? Is that our card? One of them? Oh, okay. So that's one of them. I feel like that goes over here. Okay. So we will have this side as who you are currently before the transformation, and this side is who you are after the transformation. And we're going to pull some oracle cards as well. That was easy. Oopsie. I almost put it back in the deck. I wonder if that means intuitively the accidentally almost putting it back in the deck is something about yourself maybe you don't want to see, or that you're ashamed of, or that you desperately want to change. Next, oh, there's two. goes over here. Okay. But it goes like that. There's some kind of like, this is the card, but there's doubt about it. I wonder what that's about. It's like an, I don't think that I am worthy of that or something. So let me find out. Let's find out throughout the reading what that's about. Okay, so there was shame over here and doubt over here. Let's remember that. So, the main energy of this transformation, or the main theme of this transformation, choose your battles. With the 7 of Wands. Okay. And who you are before. Yeah. You're an overachiever. You're an overachiever. How relatable. So you're someone who's achieved a lot in your life that other people have expected of you. Maybe some part of you does want those things, but what I see is that a lot of what this success looks like has been mostly determined by other people. Ideas that were ingrained into you from early on that maybe you didn't even have time to decide, wait, do I believe this or not? Like, do I want to be this? Do I believe in this? Is this what I want to go for? Before people kind of made it an imperative for you to say yes and do it and just go along with what they said. So I feel like that while there's a lot of emotional depth to you and you're very intelligent, sometimes you feel used or overworked. Either used by people that are expecting things from you for you to kind of fit into a mold and for you to exhibit things that they value. So they could be using you as a projection of their success. While it's you that's done all the work, you that sacrificed everything, and you that has achieved these things, because you're kind of doing it on their command, or in their mind you're doing it for them, then that it's kind of, maybe you feel a little bit like a pawn in their scheme, or you feel like a vicarious life that they wish they could have lived, but instead they're having you live it. And this multi-armed octopus, it's like while you have a lot of emotional depth, a lot of that feels deeply suppressed because there's just so much that you feel you have to do, and there's so many things that you have to keep track of at once. It's kind of like you're it's kind of like you have to have that many arms to put different clothes on at different times, and like, okay, now I have to be this person for this person, and now I have to be this version of me for this other person, and now I have to be this other version of me for this other person. So maybe there's a degree of masking going on, where, if you can hear my cat, she's just trapped out of the room at the moment, but she has everything she needs. She sounds very pitiful, I know. But maybe you feel like you've become this multi-armed creature that maybe you don't see yourself in. You see your utility over kind of who you are. So maybe people do treat you as a tool, or as someone that can be convinced to do all the work for someone else, or convinced to achieve someone else's dream, do it for them because they don't believe in themselves or whatever. There's a lot of agility that you've had to learn in order to navigate these perilous expectations that people put on you. These, I have to do this right way, and I have to do this in front of this other person, I have to be this and for this other person. And so you've gotten very good at dodging questions. You've gotten very good at dodging your own feelings and your own desires. But what you have trained yourself, or what other people have trained you to do for so long, is to just manage other people, basically. Maybe because of the octopus, it has this like strange face. I'm getting like the face of the octopus is a bit mysterious. Maybe people look at you with awe of like, wow, how did they do that? But also with a little bit of suspicion of, well, I don't think that this person is fully honest with me. And it's because, well, no, of course I'm not fully honest with you, genius, because you've expected me to not be myself my whole life, So there's this kind of like resentment even between parties of, well, I want you to be everything that I want, but I don't want you to lie to me. And it's like, well, I'm sorry, you can't have it both ways. Either I'm everything that you want and expect me to be, or I'm honest with you, because honestly, this isn't me. And I think that's what that's showing here, of like trying so desperately to ignore that that's not you, to ignore your true self, to ignore what your desires are, because it is so painful to have to tell people that you love, or who that love you, that no, I'm not going to meet your expectations. Actually, that's not my job. It's really hard, especially with like family, especially with partners, especially with anyone, close friends, anyone that you that you love and care for, but you also need to set boundaries with, of, no, actually, that's not who I am, and that's not what I want out of my life. So I think this is kind of, you're still maybe even in the mode of, well, I'm so talented that maybe I can make up for it, that my heart is aching. Well, but I'm so good at what I do, maybe that's enough. And I think you're putting off kind of the realization of, no, that's not enough, and it's not fulfilling you. What you're giving out to the world and to other people isn't giving back to you. You may even be waiting of like, okay, when is this gonna pay off? When am I gonna be happy? When will they see how hard I've tried to make them happy? And when will it be enough for them to leave me alone and let me be me? Or will it ever come? Will that time ever come? And I think what you need to understand is that that time's not going to come unless you make it that time. Unless you say to someone, hey, actually, now it's me time. Now this is my life and this is me time. I forgot about these two little cards down here because they're kind of down here and off. They're out of frame, but also. All right, the Chariot and the Six of Pentacles. This is a really interesting Six of Pentacles. Yeah, this almost seems like the Six of Pentacles traditionally is giving and receiving and understanding how we're all interconnected, but here with this deck, it's kind of like a shadow side of the Six of Pentacles, where again you're holding on to, like, this girl is holding on to all of these little rats' tails and thinking, I can control these parts of myself. If I hold on tight enough, I can control them, and I can make them be something that other people want to see. Now, you know, that's not allowing these rats their freedom to go and, you know, scurry about and eat cheese and be happy little rats. It's, again, with this Chariot, it's like the Chariot sometimes also is about bringing disparate, different parts of yourself together to integrate them into a larger whole, and to decide which of those parts are going to take precedence, which of those parts get to call the shots, and which of those parts of you, you know, have their uses and have their time, but shouldn't be, you know, shouldn't be 100% 24/7, you know. they shouldn't be calling the shots. And I think there's this this deep wanting of acceptance, I think, that you haven't gotten for all of the different parts of yourself. There's this deep desire for acceptance that you're looking for externally by managing other people's wants and desires and going, look, I did the right things. Are you proud of me? Look, I did the right things. Do I get my rewards yet? Look, I did the right things. Am I happy now? And I think you're finding that it's tiring and that it's not sustainable, and that ultimately you are saying no and you're restricting yourself so much. Like, look, she even kind of looks like an octopus holding onto all these little rats' tails. You know, this reminds me to say, every person has internal parts of oneself that can kind of act independently of the other. In some people, it's more pronounced than in others. Like, I'm not necessarily talking about multiple personalities, which would be like the very far one end of the spectrum of this phenomenon, but even people that are one consciousness, you know, that do not have dissociative identity disorder, then that are not a system. Then people who are just one consciousness still have different parts of themselves that kind of interplay at different times, come together and come apart, and have different motivations and different ways of thinking, different feelings stored in different parts. And that's why often people find themselves becoming someone so different with different people. Or that you find that whenever you're in X situation or Y situation, you get triggered in a particular way, and then you change into someone that you used to be, and you recognize, even like maybe you're even conscious of it, you're like, oh, I'm acting very much like I did when I was X, Y, or Z in that situation. Which you know, like I said, dissociative identity would be a very different, or sorry, would be a very far end of the spectrum. There's also like a lot of people with complex trauma, complex PTSD, have this really pronounced. It's not quite that pronounced, but it's very much a thing where you have these emotional flashbacks, where there are these pockets of feeling that kind of get stuck in time, and those pockets of feeling, or those versions of you, get stuck at a particular time, and they're still kind of inside of you, reacting to things, and, you know, putting pressure on your nervous system and making you really nervous, or making you really feel unsafe, or if you feel unsafe, you feel like you have to protect yourself more, you have to hide yourself more, you have to navigate a dangerous situation, dangerous for different degrees of how someone would feel. But like, if you're fearing what other people would say about you, or how much they would love or support you if you didn't act this way, then there is a sense of unsafety, that your full, true self, or selves, you know, whoever you are at your best, doesn't feel safe expressing yourself to these people that you're trying to impress or appease. And like I said, complex PTSD, for instance, just one example, but a lot of traumagenic disorders. I'm not a therapist. This is not a diagnosis. I'm giving the information that I know for people to relate to. If it doesn't resonate with you, don't, leave it. If it does, great. You've got an avenue for more research and looking into it, and like talking to a professional or whatever. So don't take this as an absolute diagnosis or anything. I have complex PTSD, and I have, throughout the years, I have been working through it, so it's very familiar to me, this kind of dynamic. So anyway, when you are in this situation, you are trying to keep yourself under control, basically to keep yourself safe. And by keeping you hidden under all of these different masks, you are keeping yourself safe. And in it saying that it's not sustainable, and that you're waiting for something that will never really come to fruition, in the way that is expected, either that other people expect of you, or that you are trying to expect of yourself, it's not going to happen. There has to be something else that happens instead. Now, let's find out who you're, or what you're trying to, how you're going to accept transformation. So we already had the Empress that was revealed in the reading. Come on, cards. Don't be shy. Okay, yeah. I think you're wanting to become someone that's saying enough is enough. For fuck's sake. Excuse me. 10 of Wands is just like, look, you know that song from Disney's Encanto that is like, I'm the strong one, I'm not nervous, I'm as tough as the crust of the earth is, but under the surface, she's really anxious, and she's really sensitive, and she doesn't want to hold all this for the family. Luisa, the character who sings that. And she doesn't want to be the, you know, the eldest sibling who everybody gives her their burdens, and everybody gives her their expectations. Well, in that movie, I think it was more like Isabella, the middle child of that family, that was given more of the like be perfect kind of expectations that this is more showing. So maybe there's a degree of both, but both of them are older than the main character. So there's that responsibility that you're showing here, where you're really wanting to transform into someone who can push back and to say, no, actually, I don't want to do that. No, actually, no. That's not for me. That's not my job. I don't have to manage your emotions. I don't have to manage your expectations. And I think you want to be someone who is strong in the way of not only loving and appreciating yourself, you know, instead of being something that somebody else wants. I think you're wanting to have the passion and creativity to direct your own life and to determine how you want to live it, instead of following like I keep getting this sense of like a matriarch. Like throughout this entire thing, I've gotten this like sense of a matriarch, of you don't want to do what the matriarch says. You want to be the matriarch of your own life, and you want to be the one, again, that calls the shots. You want to be in your full power to say, hey, this is what I'm gonna do, get on board or get out. So you don't have to approve, you don't have to love me for it, you don't have to accept this, but you know, if you don't accept it, you're gonna find that I'm gonna outpace you and I'm going to leave you behind because I'm going my own direction. And I think that's what this choose your battles thing is about. It's about you've been appeasing people for too long. You've been choosing the wrong you've been choosing the wrong battles. You've been choosing to use up all of your energy molding yourself into someone that is liked or appreciated, or someone who is useful, or you know, there's this thing that Louisa says in this song of like, I'm pretty sure I'm worthless if I can't be of service. And that's very much this energy here. And you want to find your worth elsewhere. You want to be the person who determines your worth. And that's the battle worth fighting, is no, actually, I am worthy of what I want to do with my life. I am worthy of being the matriarch boss bitch of my own life. And I am worth my own time and energy, which means that I can say no to you, to whoever this is. It's interesting that this is the Wheel of Fortune reversed, as the side of you wanting to transform into. I think you want to become someone who it's safe to make mistakes, and it's safe to learn by experience instead of figuring out the right things to begin with, and then, you know, putting everything in place one by one by one by one, and, you know, kind of marching the drill. You want to be someone who it's safe to explore. It's safe to, you know, to go off in the direction of your own compass, to find hidden gems in life, and to try something and find out, that didn't work. I'm gonna try something else later. And, you know, and you have the stability and the creativity to navigate that and to love yourself through it. So let's look at these other cards as more information about your transformation into someone. Okay. Oh, that's so harsh. Remember how I said like that there was this kind of shame around this? It's understandable because it's like your heart and your soul wants to be the true you, and so is a little bit ashamed of what you've molded yourself into that is so not you. That shame is kind of like not only is that shame kind of a byproduct placed there by someone who didn't accept the real you in the first place, like a parent, like a like a nurturing figure who didn't accept the real you and didn't nourish that and didn't give that real you space to grow. So you feel shame about that real you, but also then your soul is like crying out for, but I don't want to be an octopus. I don't want to be an octopus. So there's this double hiding that's happening of like, I have to hide my real self from this person or these people, and then I have to hide my soul from what I've become that I don't identify with. And that's so painful, and I'm so sorry. But and then this I said that's so harsh because whenever I said that there's like this sense of, but I don't deserve this, and it's rest. It's rest. You don't feel like you deserve rest. Oh, honey. And everybody deserves rest. That's the most basic self-care act that someone can do. And, to get enough sleep and to allow your body and your mind to heal itself, allow your spirit to heal itself. And, if someone is expecting so much of you that you don't have time to rest, that's just, again, it's going to break you down over time, but it's also, that's so fundamentally unloving of them to not allow you to rest. And sometimes not allowing someone to rest is also a control tactic. This may be true for some of you and not for others, but not allowing you to rest, it doesn't, sometimes keeping someone from sleeping is a means of control, because whenever we don't get enough sleep, we don't have our full thinking functions with us. We don't have our full emotional resilience. We don't have our full intellect with us while we're awake. So it can be, depending on your situation and how extreme the situation is, it can be someone maybe trying to make you weaker and more malleable, so that they can push you around. And that's again why there's this person standing up to big figures that are set in stone. It's like these kind of external, very rigid expectations all standing in judgment, and this person needing to find the ability to say, fuck that. to stand up for yourself. So don't let people push you around. And I know that it's hard whenever if you've grown up in this situation, or again, it's somebody that you love or that loves you, or, it's a parental figure that you've relied on. Maybe you're even in some areas of your life, depending on your situation, again, because this is a general reading, but maybe you're dependent on these people for some aspect of your life. And it's just something that you're going to have to navigate. over time, to claim back little pieces of your power until you get to this state where you are the boss bitch. You know, all of this skill that you have, you know, even though you're using it currently against yourself, you can start reclaiming that skill, and you can start saying, or you can start using your skills to slowly and incrementally work for yourself and work toward your best self instead of against yourself, instead of for other people, taking a little bit of that back for you and moving it to somewhere else, to help you go where you want to go. This raccoon makes me really think of, again, like a trauma survivor, because raccoons are very resourceful, and they're stigmatized to a degree. Yeah, lots of people think that they're cute, but I think most people in the United States, you know, think that they're kind of a nuisance, or like a feral animal that might have rabies or something. Like, raccoons are really funny on TikTok and whatever, but if someone was to encounter a raccoon in daily life, you know, just at night somewhere, they'd be like, oh no, rabies. And I think that's maybe what you're afraid of becoming. You're afraid of becoming kind of like an outcast, or, you know, the black sheep of the family, the Bruno, to extend the Encanto metaphor. But so you're afraid a little bit because you're like Bruno, like, but I love my family. But I love them. But, you know, I love these people, whoever these people are to you. And I don't want them to reject me. I don't want them to not see my value for who I am. And you know, there's something vulnerable about this little raccoon here, having to survive in what might be for you a new situation. You, like, maybe there's this fear of going from, ooh, whoa, my my light just fell. I'm sorry. But maybe there's this fear of going from a situation where you feel not well and not truly you and not emotionally good, but you feel outwardly skillful or empowered to do particular things. Like before, you do this thing well. Maybe you're afraid of going into unexplored territory and then finding that you're alone at night and it's dark and you're scared and you don't know where your people are. And that's very, you know, that's very valid. And like I said, you don't have to go immediately from one stage to the other. You can let it take time. And you might find that I'm thinking now of a bunch of, I used to drive delivery for a pizza company, and I was driving late one night, and I go down a little hill, a little driveway into an apartment complex, and there's just this like family of raccoons that are in the dumpster, like looking up and out at, because I'm higher up than they are, and so they're all just kind of like sitting on whatever's in the dumpster, and they're just kind of like all like 20 or so heads just kind of like turned toward me. It was very comical. And they were so cute. There were so many babies. Oh, anyway, like I said, raccoons are cute. Anyway, that's just me. Babies I found in the garbage. I found a baby in the garbage. But it was like a lot of babies. It was a lot of raccoon babies. Like 20 or so. And they were all just like having a ball, having a good old time in that garbage can as I drove down toward them. And you know, and then they all went away, and they're whatever, they didn't like the car coming at them even slowly. But you know what that's telling me is that, like, you can find, even if you are in a new situation that is unfamiliar to you, even if you're accepting parts of yourself that other people don't understand, there will always be people that understand. There will always be people that will relate to you and what you're going through. And finding those people that you can relate to and that relate to your situation, that, you know, they can really mirror to you, they can really show you ways forward and ways through the difficulties that you experience throughout this transformation. So there's also this card, Forgive. Now, I want to preface this. That you never have to forgive abusers. Okay? You never, if you go through your entire life and you never talk to your abusers or see them again, ever want to interact with them, if you are like, good riddance, then that's okay. That's a valid way to live, and that's a valid, healing thing that is sometimes necessary, because some people don't respect boundaries, and some people are just always going to try to control you. Some people are just always going to see you as someone you're not. Some people just don't get it, and they don't want to, for whatever reason. That's their fault and on them. That's not on you. And while this card says forgive, again, it's a very loaded word that means different things to different people. Now, a therapist might tell you that forgiveness is for yourself, not for the other person. And I also would say forgiveness is not the first thing you need to focus on. If you're still like just out of a situation, if you're still in a situation that's really painful, that is abusive, or for you, this is like, I think that often the narrative that people should jump straight to forgiveness is like, why are you skipping to step 30 when we're still not even on step 0.5 yet? Like, first things first. And, this is not the end all be all of everything. So, and then others will say forgiveness is about accepting yourself, is about accepting who you are, and forgiving yourself for ways that you've self-sabotaged, forgiving yourself, having compassion for yourself, having love for yourself, even in stages of your life where you weren't the best version of you or everything that you wanted to be. So I would encourage either one of those two, or one of those interpretations of that card, or of that concept of forgiveness, of you don't ever have to reconcile with someone, especially an abuser, especially if that abuser is not doing most of the work to acknowledge what they've done wrong and to change and to help you in your healing, and not making themselves the center of everything. But that's a long story, or that's a whole other concept. Reconciliation is different than forgiveness. Like I said, therapists will sometimes say that forgiveness is about letting the emotions of betrayal, of rage, of anger, legitimate anger, of valid anger, letting all of those pains be expressed in a way that they don't get stuck inside of you. Because whenever they're stuck inside of you, they hurt. They hurt more. They hurt when they get stuck. It may hurt when it's going through you, but not nearly as much, and not nearly as long, with as prolonged consequences as when they get stuck inside unexpressed. So feeling anger, feeling sadness, feeling betrayal. Those are normal parts of a healing process. So it's important to feel those feelings and to feel them when they arise so they don't get trapped. And I think that's what I would lean toward with this card and interpreting this card is letting those emotions become expressed so they don't get stuck, and then just allowing yourself to feel them without judging yourself. You're not a bad person for having feelings. You're not a bad person for having intense feelings when this was an intense situation. You know, you're not overreacting. You are feeling. Whatever you're feeling is the degree that you need to feel it. And so having compassion for yourself as you're feeling your feelings, and knowing that your feelings are an expression of pain, and pain in and of itself does not say anything about you except that you're in pain. It doesn't say that you're a bad person. It doesn't say that you're doing anything wrong. It doesn't say that you deserved it. Nothing like that. You're just in pain. So, be kind to yourself when you're in pain. That's how I would take this. And then down the road, even years from now, like I said, like step 30, after you've had compassion and acceptance for yourself, only much later into the future, sometimes, you know, with the help of maybe a professional therapist, with lots of self-love and self-acceptance, you can maybe come to a time in your emotional state, regardless of what the other person is doing, regardless of your abuser's involvement or non-involvement. They don't even have to be part of the picture. But maybe in the future, at some point, you can hold the hope for a time when this pain won't control the narrative of your life anymore. When this pain won't be all that you feel or all that you see. That's what this means, is that in the future, one day maybe you can hope that you will have felt everything that you need to feel such that it's not weighing on you anymore. You're not carrying it around. You don't have to keep feeling it because it's not suppressed anymore. You've felt it at the intensity that it needs to be felt. You've let it through you. You've let it out. And now you're ready to put it down and move on. That's what that means. So, I think surrendering to the transformation, in this case for you, pile 1, is understanding that there's going to be ups and downs, and this is not going to be a thing that will happen overnight. You know, this is going to be a thing that takes time, and little by little you can find ways that you can give back to yourself and to this beautiful future that you want, that you truly want, that is your most empowered self. And one day that person is going to have all of the rest that they need and is going to feel completely accepting and content with, not with what happened, but content and accepting of, I made it through and I am now someone that I'm proud of and someone that I love. Not because of this, but in spite of this. Okay? I'm trying to think if there's anything else I'm supposed to say or to channel here. Raccoons are tenacious. They don't give up. They keep always trying to find, in the animalistic sense, in the animal sense, literally, always trying to find the next like little morsel of delicious yummies. Always the next morsel of delicious yummies. And they get very good at it. They are skilled in their own way. They are skilled at surviving. They are skilled at finding little things to treasure, little things to, you know, to be happy about. Oh my God, I found a tasty morsel. Yum, yum, yum. And like again with the little raccoon family, they have little munchkins of their own, or like they have they have community too, and they have inquisitiveness, and they have insight that not a lot of people or not a lot of animals have. They know things that other people don't know. They're very skilled in their own way. They are very they're very wise in kind of a streetwise sense. Maybe not in the book learning, but they sure know how to have a raucous party, you know? I may not be smart, but I definitely know where the magic mushrooms are. Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Anyway. So I think that this can be a blessing. I think that this is as someone that you're transforming into, along with the Empress, this is someone who knows how to find other people that have gone through the same experiences or similar experiences, and this is someone who can be like, hey, I can show you the ropes. I know, I've been through that before. Here, let me help you. Let me guide you. Because I know it's dark and we're all kind of small and scared. So, again, that kindness of, I found a way through this darkness, so I can show you too where the tasty treats are. All right. I think that's about it. So, thank you, Pile 1, for tuning into this reading. I wish you all the best. If, you know, since I talked about some difficult things here, if you want to look into, you know, professional therapy or anything, or there's many different kinds of therapy. You know, if one kind doesn't work for you, you can try another. If one therapist doesn't work for you, you can try another. It's all very flexible. And there's even ways to get therapy that is inexpensive. Or, you know, talk to someone that you trust at the very least if you're going through a rough time. So, thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! Hi there, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading about how you can surrender to transformation. Whatever kind of transformation that you are facing, now or in the near future. So, let's get started by shuffling. This transformation can be big or small or mid-size. Oh! Okay. So we're going to get our tarot cards first. Interesting. Stop that. I forgot that this deck jumps a lot. Please, no more jumpers. I just want... Alright. So we're going to get one more. And then we're going to get... Let me just check the energy of these. Are they where they need to be? Are they where they need to be now? Interesting. So there's this kind of confusion already that I'm sensing between this and this space. So on this side we're having who you are currently, and on this side we're having who you want to transform into, or who you are being called to surrender, to transform into, to accept this transformation. But there's this confusion between these two cards of should it be this or should it be this? Should they be swapped places? So we're going to remember that, and we're going to come back to it. So we're going to draw a few oracle cards from... Can you please? This goes over here. Oh, okay. Interesting. There's something odd going on energetically here with you, pile 2, or with your reading at the very least. Are we getting one more? What are we doing? This is a fear. This is a fear. That's why. Okay, is that it? Or do we need one more over here? My goodness. Spirit, guides, y'all, please help me translate this. Okay, so this one, that's where it goes. Huh. And this one has so much sadness around it. That's so strange. Anyway, let's pull you one of these. We will find out. We will find out what's going on. Oh, okay. Not that one. Not that one. But this one you do get an extra. Again. Oh my, okay. Ah, okay. So this is a different deck than pile 1 got. This one. And is it this one? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Y'all, spirit or intuition being really weird with the cards right now. So we're gonna figure it out. Do they get one of the... No. Okay. So you don't get a Vessel Oracle deck card because you got this extra. So that's interesting. Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense in my brain. Okay. Alrighty. So let's get first the major theme of your surrender to transformation. And you get reach out. Yeah, you're in a period of real instability, aren't you? You've got like, it's like a bright flashing light that causes all these shadows, and you don't know what shadows are going to come out and get you. Which is why you're showing up as the Panther, which is like you're showing up as someone who is very outwardly kind of like aggressive, or like get the fuck away from me, because you feel this is who you are outwardly, and then this is who you are inside. Inside is this overturned page of pentacles that is this very vulnerable deer that doesn't know how to protect itself. You know, it's a prey animal, and it feels very vulnerable, and it's a baby. And this is really saying that you're in a very difficult time where your nervous system is overshot, and that's why you're lashing out a little bit, because you're afraid you're afraid of being hurt, potentially in ways that you've been hurt in the past. I think triggers are a really big issue for you right now, and you are so terrified and in this state of paranoia and in this state of fear and trauma that you're seeing things that aren't there. Maybe you've even been, so I want to distinguish, maybe you have been gaslit before, which is definitely something that a lot of people under emotional abuse experience, is the being gaslit, being told that your experiences aren't true, that your experiences aren't valid, that even that you're not perceiving things correctly or truly. Often abusers will convince people that they're not seeing things accurately because they don't see things the way that the abuser sees. So the abuser, the emotional abuser, is just completely discounting this other person's, or is completely discounting their target's emotional physical and mental reality, and that can leave someone's nervous system very shot, very like jittery, and expecting the next thing to be awful, and expecting the next thing, like always tensed and hyper vigilant for fight or flight, because of this feeling of unsafety, this basic lack of grounding, this basic lack of like floor beneath you. You see, this person is kind of sitting on these hands, like, I don't know where the floor is. Usually actually, I think that this is the, let me double check. Is this the Three of Swords? Or is this the Three of Pentacles? No, I think it's a Three of Pentacles, sorry. So this is the Three of Pentacles. So good, because it didn't have like, despite this being very like, what's the word? Very shaken, very unsteady, very ungrounded. This doesn't have the particular like feel of the Three of Swords. It has the feel of like, yes, it's significant that she's not standing or sitting on the ground, but she is being supported by other people. So this is saying that there is maybe opportunity for you to maybe reach out to professional help, maybe reach out to friends, partners, family, whoever you trust, to talk about these experiences that you're having, or that, this fear, this anxiety. It could be as simple as anxiety. Not that anxiety is, different degrees for different folks. It could be anxiety. It could be trauma. It could be lots of trauma triggers. It could be like social anxiety, or, it's different degrees for different people, because this is a general reading, but in general, I think, well, let's get more information first. So, oh, that's why all the uncertainty around picking the cards is because it's like not knowing what's stable, not knowing kind of the anxiety, kind of the like nervous system, or the I don't know what's true or what's not true. So maybe people in your life are telling you that you're too much, or that you're too wild, or that you're too sensitive, especially with the horse. I think people are telling you, and this moon right here on the horse's forehead, I think people are telling you that you're too sensitive. And what's important to know here is that they're wrong. You're not too sensitive. You are just sensing things that they are not sensing. So, there's that Three of Swords. It came across after all. So there's that Three of Swords. So there is a lot of struggle, there is a lot of pain here. And I think the reason why the Three of Swords didn't come up here as the central theme is that you're not beyond help. Okay? You may think that you are, you may even like tell yourself something like that. People might even tell you that. And that's such a cruel and awful thing for people to tell you, to say that someone is beyond help. That again reminds me of that gaslighting, like, damn, no wonder you're so afraid of where you are and what you're feeling. And, people are constantly like telling you that you're too much, too loud, too intense, too sensitive, too this, too that, blah, 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 and it's not real. Like, who does that? Like, I know a lot of people do that. A lot of people say really cruel things like that, and that's on them. That's their problem. The problem, if there is a problem, it is not you that's the problem. It is the people that are not believing you or not listening to you, because you are sensitive for a reason, okay? You are sensitive, just full stop. And it doesn't have to come with a judgment of too much, too little. You just are. You are sensitive, and sensitivity is a blessing. Or I know sometimes it doesn't feel like that, because especially if you're in this state where you're feeling very ungrounded and very, very afraid, frightened, unsure, I know it doesn't always feel like a blessing, but that is a power that you can claim, that you can reclaim and get back for yourself. Now, cycle and ceremony. I think there are like, this either has a theme of like cycles of abuse, where you keep going around the same carousel, the same bullshit carousel, to quote Kellyanne Maddox. You keep going around the same bullshit carousel. And the bullshit in this situation is not you, is not your experiences. The bullshit is what other people are putting you through. It's their bullshit. And they are kind of stringing you along, or like putting you on a little rail cart, a little rail thing, or a little thing to go round and round and round and round and round and round and round. And if they keep you on that track, then they know that you won't ever go anywhere, and they know where to find you, and they know how to control you, basically. And this like cycle and ceremony tells me that there's a lot of like kind of ritualistic behavior that is happening in some context, like either that it is ritualistic abuse, maybe even spiritual abuse that you're experiencing, or that your coping mechanism with whatever abuse that you're experiencing, your coping mechanism becomes ritualistic, because you feel that you need to have something to rely on. And so then that something that you rely on, because your environment is so unsteady, you start creating rituals for yourself to self-soothe this overshot nervous system. So I think that's all that Spirit is telling me for this side of the reading for the moment. So we'll come back to it after we see some more of the other cards, okay? So this is the transformation that you're called to surrender to, okay? Father of Pentacles, Father of Cups. Okay. So these are usually the kings, the King of Pentacles and the King of Cups. And we're going to look at this one first. Okay. Swan. So because this swan, oops, there, it flipped over that card. And this is also a swan. So how very meaningful. I swear I didn't do that on purpose. That was interesting. I feel like that there's this conflict. Let me think of how to say this. I think that the sadness around this card is that a part of you deep down knows that you have a lot of love to give in the world, in the universe, and part of you deep down knows that you are a sensitive and compassionate and caring and intuitive person, and that you have so much emotional depth, and that you have this balance between your mind and your heart in this way that when people talk about, there's like intellectual intelligence and then emotional intelligence, and then they intersect in this Venn diagram, and in the middle is like the wise mind, which I think was like a I think psychology kind of appropriated it from Buddhism, but I don't know the specifics about it. But the point is that there is this beautiful merge of different intelligences, of your mind, of your body, of your spirit, of your emotions, your heart, and you know deep down that you're capable of such genuine love and magic and psychic ability, and that's part of your sensitivity, perhaps. And you know that you're capable of so much more than you're led to believe. You know that your sensitivity is a gift deep down. You want to use it in a way that is fulfilling to you. And there's also the sadness about this card is that your ego, not as a judgmental, but like as your habitual mind, shall we say, the mind that's been conditioned always to be on guard and to be hyper vigilant, has grown to doubt that maybe you're wrong about all these things that you feel so deeply in your heart. And that is heartbreaking. That is heartbreaking to feel that way, that your deepest, most treasured reality that you love about yourself, that you value about yourself, somehow is made to seem unreal, illusory, or that you don't deserve to live like that. That's why there's so much sadness here. But what it says to me is that whether you, at the moment, whether you doubt this part of you or not, it is still there. And it will still be here to meet you whenever you've gone through whatever transformations you need to go through. Whenever you have gone through healing, whatever it is that you're needing to go through, self-compassion, some kind of emotional healing, some kind of cognitive healing, some kind of like needing to reduce reactivity, or again, not because you're too sensitive, but let me rephrase, to remove yourself from situations that so continuously shock your system. You're reacting as strong as the shocks are coming to you, and it's also creating aftershocks of like you get the shock and you're like, ugh, and you kind of shake for a while afterward, even though you're not still being shocked, because your body is just processing all of the intensity of that shock. So it's not unreal. You are still, it's just over this prolonged, you have to get it out of your body over this prolonged time, because it was so intense in the moment. That's what trauma does to a nervous system. So what I mean by reducing reactivity is like grounding, centering, You know, those are just basic tools, but you know, even just grounding and centering isn't going to be able to get you the amount of help that you probably will need to be able to get through this transformation into your best self. Which is why it says to reach out, which is why it says probably to get some kind of professional aid, whether that is anxiety medication. You know, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not saying you specifically, because again, this is a general reading, but if you feel called to look into medications, that's an option that's out there, talking to a professional. If you feel called to learn kind of somatic therapies to kind of get some of this energy, some of this shock out of your body, out of your system, to soothe your nervous system in a more prolonged and what is the word? More helpful long-term way. By all means, it's saying to reach out. Now, it's interesting here that there's this swan that is like all of your gifts and all of your emotional depth, your capacity for love, your desire to show that love to other people, or to maybe in a romantic connection or something. There's this desire for you to show how much love you have to give. And then there's this King of Cups, this Father of Cups, that is, I think, let me feel into the energy for a minute. I think maybe a part of you is afraid that you're never going to reach this place to accept these parts of yourself because you've been through too much that hurts. And I think what this is here to tell you is that you can absolutely be someone who has been hurt, who has felt a lot of pain, who has gone through very difficult things. And you can also, at the same time, be someone who loves very deeply and who is emotionally mature and who is able to navigate the rough waters of life, is able to like, it looks like it's raining here, and the swan is peacefully floating along the lake in the rain, and the rain doesn't really bother him. Like, yes, there have been experiences in the past that have been painful or sad or, you know, deeply hurtful, but this King of Cups now has fully embraced not only their gifts and their psychic abilities and their emotional depth and their love and their emotional maturity, but has accepted those things and found those things through understanding and through having been through pain before. There's a certain kind of wisdom that is learned. And I'm not saying, this is very difficult, I'm sorry. I'm not saying that you don't have to be thankful for pain. Pain hurts. It's not about that this pain has or will create something positive about you. It's not about that. The pain doesn't create it in the future. The pain is just the circumstance under which, like, it's the environment. You have this past environment of having gone through pain, and it's the healing, and it's the understanding, and it's the resilience, and it's the growth that you make in spite of the pain, not because of it, but in spite of it, that you become someone who is at home with themselves no matter what situation they're in, that they are completely loving toward themselves, and maybe to others, more loving to others, because of the depths that you have felt and experienced. Now, I think also that you see here, from going from this Page of Pentacles that was unstable and didn't know where the ground was very shaky, in the future, after this transformation, has become this King of Pentacles, has been, I've created my stability. I've created the ground that I stand on. And it's not easy. And it's going to take time. It's going to take discomfort. Whenever a butterfly becomes a butterfly, whenever a caterpillar goes into its cocoon, and it waits for a long time in this changing state. It waits for a long time in this changing state, and it's actually changing, like, down to the DNA level. It's really weird, and it's really cool. But, like, this caterpillar is changing into goop. This caterpillar is becoming Nickelodeon slime. I don't know if you're too young to understand that, but this caterpillar is becoming toothpaste before it becomes a butterfly. It's and it changes so fundamentally that it takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of time, and of course it needs that protection while it's changing, because it's a very difficult, like, uncomfortable process to turn into goop and then turn back into a thing. To turn into this butterfly. And butterflies, whenever they come out of the cocoon, they sit there on their cocoon shell, and they just kind of slowly fan their wings. They don't take off immediately. They slowly, like, dry off the moisture of having been in that goop cocoon. They fan off the excess moisture. And I think that that's a sign of that you need to be patient with yourself, that healing from something that has hurt you so deeply and has made you question yourself and question that you can even become this in the future, steady and stable and confident in yourself and confident in your world and confident in your reality, able to navigate your own life and able to love yourself and love others in it, despite your pains, and being in communion with the world in a deeper way, because you have gotten through your dark night of the soul, because you have gotten through your having your faith and your ground, whatever you had faith in before that was betrayed, having your ground shaken underneath you. You're going to be able to open your heart to many more situations and many more parts of you that will feel more exponentially more loved in the future. But this is going to take time, and it's okay to need help to get there. You don't have to do all of this all on your own. You know, the caterpillar the caterpillar may have this like instinctual knowledge of how to like get itself into a plate to eat. First of all, it's got to eat. It's got to chow down. It's got to eat so much. So it's got to eat all the leaves. And then it's got that like instinctual internal knowledge of how to like go to create a cocoon and then become goo. And until it becomes a butterfly. But you know, I do think from experience even that human spirits, human bodies, human soul, human heart, mind, I think we have an instinctual partial knowledge of how to heal ourselves. And I think that the more connected that we are psychically, especially like to a higher power, to divinity, to whatever you believe in, I think that the more that we are connected to the other realms, the easier it becomes to co-create your healing process. I think we do have an instinctual pull to find what heals us, but I think that in our current society there are a lot of blocks, there are a lot of things that keep us from getting there. There are a lot of things that say that we're wrong. There are a lot of things that say that you don't deserve to heal. There are things that say that you can't trust yourself, you know, but the more I think that you allow yourself to find ways to connect to higher power, whatever that looks like to you. I'm not here to say that you have to believe one thing or another. Whatever it looks like to you, even if it's just believing in your own future self, in your own future hope, in your own future capacity, believing in the you that exists in the future that is happy, even if it's that, if it's something that you can hold on to, I do think that we have that natural instinct to get part of the way there, to heal over time. And sometimes whenever something is very deep and hurting that much, I think that we deserve to reach out for help, because we want to be able to heal. We want to be able to heal as fast as we can, while also understanding to be patient with ourselves. We don't want to spend the rest of our life healing, you know, that it would take to heal just instinctually, right? And we might come into a lot of hurdles to that because society doesn't really allow us the space, allow us the self-trust, allow us the self-nurturance to be able to heal that way alone, you know. And I don't think that people are even in that instinctual healing. I don't think that that's meant to be done alone. I think that society has disconnected us from our means of support, not only from divinity, but also from the communities and the family systems that should be there to support us, that sometimes are so disordered that they harm us rather than help us, or they harm us rather than love us. And community systems that are so maybe not used to functioning as communities, maybe either too self-centered, individualistic, and or too focused on money or material reality or getting something from someone than acting in solidarity with others who are hurting like we are. I think it's an unfortunate thing that society doesn't have collectively better skills to be able to heal in community, which would make things a lot easier. But in the meantime, while communally we are learning to be better as humans, I think that you need to allow yourself to reach out in the capacity that you can, and to allow yourself to tell people that you're going through a lot, to tell people that you're suffering, to tell people that you're not well and that you need help, that you don't, that even if you could do it alone, which I don't think that we should have to do anything alone, you know, for all the reasons that I just said. But let people know that you know that you don't have to do it alone, and you deserve better. You deserve the help. You deserve the support. You deserve, tell yourself, I deserve support. I deserve assistance. I deserve help navigating this. And it doesn't mean that I'm bad. It just means that I need help. Everybody needs help sometimes. Everybody goes through difficult things in life, and people need the degree of help to get through the degree of difficult thing that they went through. So if you find that you need more help than other people in your life, all that means is that you went through a more difficult thing, you know, or that you deserve to have the amount of resources that you need. And don't let anyone make you feel bad about that. You deserve everything that you need to heal and to be happy in your life. All right, so let's look at these final cards, because I feel like they're going to either show you like a possible future, like not a possible future, because, well, yeah, a possible like way that you can transform into someone happier, and or advice, you know. So let's take a look at these. Zebra. You know what this is reminding me of? This is reminding me of the child's book, A Bad Case of the Stripes, where this girl is denying that she likes lima beans because only uncool people like lima beans. and so she changes her arms and her legs, you know, her face starts all changing different colors, and whenever they say the Pledge of Allegiance, which is really messed up that we have to say the Pledge of Allegiance in US public schools. That's really indoctrinating. But anyway, that's a side tangent. But anyway, so she gets the flag on her arms and legs whenever she says the Pledge of Allegiance in school, and whenever people in the classroom other kids start calling out different colors or different patterns or different shapes, she gets all those patterns and colors and shapes on her arms, and she feels kind of like uncertain and ungrounded in even who she is until she remembers that she loves lima beans. So this feels like someone that you could be, where you become more aware of the multifacetedness of your reality. Again, with this psychic or intuitive energy where you're connected with spirit. I think that this zebra is showing a lot of integration of opposites, is showing a lot of integration of dualities, of like earth, spirit, of who you were versus who you are, or who you're becoming. There's a lot of like zebras cluster together to avoid predators, right? So this zebra is finding community, people like them, where they feel safe, they feel protected from abusers, or predators. They are very like aware of their surroundings, but not hyper vigilant. They're kind of chill because they know they're safe. But awareness of your surroundings, again, is that sensitivity, is that those senses, those perceptions that are coming into play, and now you know what to do with them. You know, maybe you're in communion with spirit more in the future. You know that not only are you backed up by the people that are helping or that helped you in the past, that are your friends now, and your you know, whoever is in your life now, your people, but you're also helped by the universe that is on your side. And I think that this is showing this maturation, although they're technically different animals, but I think that there is this maturation happening from this this intuitive, like, horse, this what other people describe as like uncontrollable, wild, right? That it becomes more, what you're going through and what you sense becomes a lot more manageable to you, not to anybody else, because who cares what, you know, whether they find you manageable, because you're confident in yourself and your own abilities. You love yourself. You have created the ground that you stand on yourself. So, but I think that these energies and these different things that play in your life become more manageable to you, and you know how to navigate them now. So, okay. What was it about this? I think this was just showing like the uncertainty of before. Okay. Moving on. Here, let's put this up here. Moving on. So I think in the future, or, you know, if you surrender to this transformation, if you recognize that you need help, and then you seek out that help, and then you find new ways to love and support yourself and to give yourself that grounding, that stability, I think it's going to give you opportunities to live in between spaces. Again, with this like liminality, I think you'll become just as confident in the spiritual world as in the material. And I think you'll be able to, I think that you'll be able to balance these things in your life, and you'll be able to walk this line very smoothly and very wisely and calmly, intuitively, at deep presence with everything around you. And it's not overwhelming, it's just whole. I think that your spiritual guides or your higher power want you to see how you can live in the in-between, and you can create a beautiful, magical life in that space. I think that part of your journey, your transformation, is learning that you deserve to live in that beautiful, calmly powerful state. It's a really reserved sort of power. It's a presence. It's I keep saying the word communion. It's a way of being deeply interwoven with life in a way that's so fulfilling that it's different people and different beings and different parts of life and parts of the universe all come together to meet you, because you live in a space in between all of them. And so you can show others where you've been, you can show others the pathways to other places, you can show others different ways of living, different emotions or energies, or like things that they haven't experienced before. It's almost like you're opening the door to possibility for other people. And you're just flowing with it. You're allowing things to come and go, and you're bringing this new hope and this new life, this new creativity, receptivity to other people and other beings in your life. I think, again, the cheetah. The cheetah is a very anxious animal. In fact, there are cheetahs in zoos that have to have like a dog companion because they just get so anxious. They need like a golden retriever companion. Because they have so much anxiety. Oh, those poor cheetahs. I think that this is saying that don't ever feel like you're behind in your spiritual growth or in your life as compared to other people. Don't ever feel like you're behind, because you're not. You are going to reach this place, this beautiful person that you're becoming. As difficult as it may be at the moment, but you're going to, as slow as the process is in the healing portion of it, when you have gone through your healing journey and you've made it through the other side, then you're in a place of such calm strength that you are ready to go in any direction that you choose, like that. Like things, after you've gone through, it's like you're front loading all of the most difficult parts of life or something. It's like you've been through, you're going through so much struggle now that whenever you get through and whenever you've done your healing through it, you get out of it and you're moving on, then you're now at the point of everything seems easy in comparison to that. So other people might have this arc in their life of like, they get a little ways and then they have a struggle, and then they get a little ways more and then they have a struggle, or then they get a lot of ways, they get everything up front and then they have a big struggle. And I think you kind of start out with a like big struggle, and then as soon as you get through your healing journey, you're like, whoop, and you achieve everything that you wanted to achieve. And it's like, and people are like, they see the growth in you and they're astounded, but they're also like, whoa. once you got through your healing part, once you got through this like really tough period of your life, you really tough, like, stuff here that you had to go through, once you're past that, it's like instant success. Once you come out of it, it is going to take time to do this part. But all I'm saying is that don't worry that this part is taking too long, or that you're behind because you have so much to do to heal, or to get to this place where you're stable and secure, and that you love yourself, and that you're deeply connected to the world around you and multiple worlds around you. Don't ever feel like it's taking too long, because whenever you get through it and out of it, it's going to be like, okay, where do you want to go? You're there. Okay, where do you want to go? There you are. Instant success. Instant knowing, you know, because you can just, you've gone through so much work that you know how to navigate anything now, basically. All right. Thank you, Pile 2. And I really do wish you the absolute best. And please reach out for whatever you need. Again, know that you deserve everything you need. Everything you need. You deserve to have it. There's this thing that we have in society, there's this, like, especially Americans, there's this belief of, like, that it's almost like American society resents people for needing things. And it's like, if people had everything that they needed to survive and to be comfortable in their life, think of how creative everyone would be if they from the beginning had everything that they need, and all of the fears of, like, survival were put to rest. If they were safe, if they were comfortable, if they had all the food and the shelter that they needed, if they had, you know, if they had all those basic things, safety, if they had all those basic things accounted for, and they never had to worry about having those things, think of how creative, how much energy and how much time can be put toward creative pursuits to build marvelous things. And not just for themselves, but also for community, for society. And so don't ever feel guilty for needing things, because everybody needs things. And it is a perversion of society that we pretend that people who need things are wrong or bad. And it is that attitude of society that hurts and harms, because it's just not in alignment with reality. It's not in alignment with caring for people, with loving people, with understanding that given everything that they need, people are magic, and people can co-create with the divine in astounding ways. All right. I think I've belabored my point, but thank you so much for tuning in for this reading, Pile 2. I do wish you the absolute best, and I will see you next time. All right? Bye. Hi there, Pile 3. So, we're going to find it out today. How can you surrender to transformation in your life? Whether this is a large transformation or a small transformation, whether it is a transformation of mind, body, spirit, circumstance. We are going to find out today. How can Pile 3 surrender to transformation in their life? Oh, okay. One, 2, 3. One, 2, 3. I know that tarot cards are not usually circular, but this one is. This is the Mother Peace Tarot. So these 3 are going to be who you are now currently, and then who you are becoming through transformation. All right, Spirit says to put that back. Maybe it showing up on the screen meant something to y'all, or to some of y'all, but Spirit said to put it back, so. Oh, okay, so we're just going to take the top card then. So this is going to be the theme. The theme of your surrendering to transformation. We're going to get one of these oracle cards for either end of this transformation. No? Okay. Okay. No, we keep shuffling. Okay. This is the one. Yep. All right. Alrighty. And, oh, so you get one of these. So this is an oracle deck that I didn't use for either pile 1 or pile 2, but it was here because I knew one of them was going to use it. Or at least at the beginning of this, I knew that one of them was going to use it. And then I forgot. And then Spirit reminded me. So that this one was for you. Oh. Ooh. The energy of that, my God. That's a resistance if ever I've felt a resistance. Okay. And I think you get one more. No. I keep getting a mental image of like a white snake. I wonder what that's about. I mean, snakes are a symbol of transformation, but like specifically a white snake. I don't think it's a snake with albinism. I think it's just a white snake. That's interesting. Because I keep seeing it with black eyes. I wonder if that means anything to anybody. Huh. Feels like a very gentle snake. Feels like a soft, milky sort of snake. I just heard the word tender, softness. All right. Are we getting any more cards? Okay, we're getting one of this. And one of this. Jeez. That one blazed into my mind. My God. They were like, this one goes over here. Like, okay, all right, I got the message. Thank you. Okay, so you're having this like mirroring of the oracle cards, because the oracle cards have been different for each pile. But apparently you get 2 of each of these. So let's get into the reading. First, we're going to look at the theme, win or lose. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. So, the Chariot, this is who you are now, or before the transformation. 9 of Wands came out like that, and then High Priestess, pointing to the 9 of Wands, which is pointing to win or lose, interestingly. I feel like this is more about an endeavor, like a choice to go through this transformation, rather than like needing to well, let's get some more cards to see. Okay. B. Joy is the ultimate creator. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, this is definitely like a creative pursuit, like something that you're trying to bring into being, maybe. Spirit. See the Spirit card. Let's see if we can put that up there, actually. Joy is the ultimate creator. Spirit and bee. So the bee is trying to find meaning. The bee is trying to find purpose, meaning in creation, in community, creation, in working with the divine, creation in teamwork, creation in the joys of life. Again, we got joy as the ultimate creator. And this is like it feels like this is the beginning of a passion project. So very different from the previous piles. This is win or lose. Maybe this is about the reins, metaphorically, of your creative vision and where it's going, and understanding that to be able to do something big like what you're imagining, a bee doesn't accomplish big things just by itself. It has a whole hive. And win or lose, it feels like there's this struggle between who's the brains of this outfit? Like, is what I just heard. Who's driving this car? I think the answer is that you are driving this car. You are driving this car, and you're not the only person who's going to make this thing come to pass. You're driving the car, you're directing the creative vision, but there's also a lot of there's little snakes here. There's also a lot of needing to understand that while you can try to predict what you're making, once you give something life and it takes on that life of its own, it becomes a creative project, becomes sort of alive whenever you're enjoying it, whenever you're putting your passion, your drive behind it, you're putting your spirit behind it. It takes on this new life of its own, and all of the different people that are creating with you, whether that is, you know, higher power spirit, or whether that is a team of people. I keep thinking of, maybe it's because of the books that I'm reading at the moment, but I keep thinking of like a movie crew, like all of the people. It's not just the director, it's the director and the actors and the makeup artists and the lighting and the set directors and the, you know, all the people with the different skills and the, you know, and it's, there's a lot of room for a lot of happy accidents that just happen, and you're going, and you think you know where it's going, but you have to be loose enough with it to be like, great. Whenever something beautiful happens, one of those happy accidents, you just go, great, oh my God, that's perfect. You know, the universe delivered what I didn't know that I wanted. So yes, you have this vision and you have this passion and this creativity, but maybe win or lose is about, it's not going to be all or nothing what you get from it. It's you have to be a little bit loose with the reins, maybe. Let's find out where you're going, or like what the transformation is going to be. The sun. Ooh, yeah, that joyous culmination of a creative project. The Fool. That it's maybe it's a new project for you. Maybe it's a new thing that you're trying. Maybe that's leading to an impulse to maybe over control. But again, this is the, like, be a little bit loose with it. Allow things to unfold rather than trying to control every step. Intuitively lean into it. Four of Swords. So I think that you're someone who, I think that you might overthink a little bit. And I think that rest and sleeping and dreaming is particularly important to you and to your creative process. Whether it's just that, whether for you, because this is a group reading, whether this is about when you dream, you know that you're going through XYZ, you know, of the sleep cycle. And so then your brain is getting that juicy rest that it desperately needs, you know, the whatever delta waves or whatever the, yeah, you know, I'm not a sleep scientist. But for some reason, I think maybe actually you get intuitive messages in your dreams, whether you frame it like that specifically, or whether you just are like, you are processing a lot of thoughts and feelings in your dreams, and then creative inspiration will come to you in your dreams, and you're like, hey guys, you come to the, like, this metaphor of the movie director set, of like, you come to the set next day and you're like, hey guys, I know I left yesterday frustrated, I didn't know how to fix this problem, I slept on it, I got it. I've got the perfect solution. It came to me. You know, all I needed was to sleep. All I needed was to sleep on it. To let my brain do its background processes and to allow it, you know, if you believe in higher power, spirit, whatever, or like psychic, intuitive gifts or whatever, however you frame it. I just needed, you know, I needed my brain to do its background processes while I slept. I needed to be open to spirit in that way when I slept. And I just, something about sleeping and specifically dreaming is important to your creative process. If you're someone who meditates, that might be a really good practice for you to keep doing throughout your creative endeavor. Because I think that again, it will allow your brain more processing time, it will allow your brain more rest to do its background thing, and it will allow your intuition to thrive. It will give you calm in moments of like haphazard chaos that you couldn't have predicted this thing. It's a weird thing to have happened. You couldn't have predicted it, but it's happening and now you've got to deal with it and you're stressed. Always, even if you're stressed, take time to take time, even if it's just 15 minutes, even if it's just 5 minutes, even if it's just 5 seconds, okay? Before you make major creative decisions, take rest, okay? Because I think that you're someone with a lot of passion and drive, that you're ready to just go, and you're used to being go, go, go. There's a lot of fire energy, there's a little bit of earth, there's a little bit of everything. I think you're pretty balanced, honestly, but behind everything is this I know where I'm going, and so help me if anything gets in my way. So help me. They better watch out, because I'm a big creative steamroller right now. And I will run over them. And I think that's something that, like, I think you're probably someone that's really funny and charismatic, and you draw a lot of people to your vision, and you get the team members that are going to help you create this thing. I think you get them on board easily. You inspire people because you are joyful when you create, because you have inspiration, because you know what it takes to get something done, and then you have the follow through to do it. Or at least, you know, you've developed that follow through over time, even if you're one of those people for whom it's been difficult. But I think what your major struggle is that it doesn't need to be perfect to be beautiful. It doesn't need to be perfect to be beautiful. And the process of creating is just as beautiful as the finished product. Just as beautiful, or even more so than the finished product. So if things happen that are unexpected, allow those things to happen. I know that you have this like very detailed vision of what you want, or this like very intense vision of what you want. And sometimes, yes, it's going to feel frustrating whenever you feel that at first that vision is interrupted or blocked, and something about the situation is telling you, no, you can't have your beautiful vision. But I think that those times are going to be opportunities for spirit, higher power, the universe, happy accidents to step in and go, hey, I know you thought about this one thing and you thought it was going to be so great, but here's something better. What about this other thing? I think this is going to be better. And then once you realize what that other thing is, you go, oh my God, I love it. And that's, I think, the attitude that you need to go into this creative process with, of like, mistakes are just happy accidents. And and you can have something even more beautiful as a result of mistakes sometimes, or of unexpected instances, unexpected happenings. You just need to be able to take the time, the rest, to not let your passion burn and, like a volcano erupting all over you and all over everyone with your frustration, because that's just going to damage the bond between you and your team that is on your side. Your team is on your side. The people that have been inspired by your vision, they love it and they want to help you. Don't blow up at them whenever something unexpected happens. People are people. Life is life. Shit happens. I think that's one of your major struggles, is that you need to let it go sometimes. Take a breather. Take a breather. Know that you might not see every step of the path exactly how it's going to end up, and that's okay, because it's going to be freaking awesome anyway. And you're going to be so happy with the result, and your entire team, creative team, is going to be so happy with the result at the end. You're going to think, this is so marvelous. I don't know how this happened. Even though I had the vision and the plan from the beginning, I don't know how this happened this way, because it's just so good. I think that's what you live for, is that feeling. And the way to get that feeling is not for everything to go exactly as planned. The way to get that feeling that you crave is to have a little bit of flexibility sometimes. So let's look at the other cards here. Beaver. Beaver. I'm sorry. I don't know why that's so funny. I think that you're someone that people trust. I think not only are you creative and fun, and you're like, maybe you've got this sense of humor that makes people laugh, but I think people also trust you. Because you create, what is it? I just got this intuitive hit of like, beavers create their homes on the rivers, and they like pat it with their little tail, like, there it is, it's all stable, I got it in place, there you go. I think also you are good at, again with that patting motion, I think you're good at telling people how they're doing well. I think you're good probably at telling people how that they can improve while also telling them what they're doing well. I think that also creates trust. Like people trust you because of that, or at least through this transformation of this project, they will come to trust you in that, because you are that's why this reading is like this. It's so different than the other two readings that was like a transformation of self. This is kind of a transformation of self, but it wasn't surrendering to a transformation of self. It's surrendering to the process. You're already this person. You're this person and this person. But at first people are going to see this person. And then through the process, they're going to find out that you're also this person, that you're good at not just inspiring people and helping them to work together toward your creative vision, but you're also good at letting people know how they thrive and how their skills are valuable and how they contribute to the collective. And you're good at like patting people on the back in a way that like, hey, you deserve recognition. You deserve recognition too. Thank you. I think that's what this beaver is saying. You are grounded and emotionally very this earth water of the beaver. It's it's a very giving and like gracious, there we go, that's the word I'm looking for. It's a very gracious energy of, they come to you because of this, and then they stay with you because of this. They are inspired by you, and they love your vision, your creativity, and then they become loyal, and they just get, like, not only are they going to work with you for one project, they want to work with you through everything that you ever do, because you treat them so well, your team. You boost them up, you give them factual, like realistic understandings of, these are things that you can improve on, and these are things that you are just doing so spectacularly. Keep up the good work. And you're really good about being balanced about doing both of those things and telling people both of those things. So people find you very inspiring first, and then later they find you charming, and they find you dependable, and they find you trustworthy, and just like they are gonna stand up for, not just for your vision, but they're also gonna stand up for you, because they know that you stand up for them, and you have their back just as much as they have yours. So this is a beautiful, beautiful energy of collaboration. So what this is saying is, like, just don't get frustrated with little things that happen, that you damage that trust by by letting your frustration come out at the wrong people or at the wrong place at the wrong time. Just make sure that you're centered, that you can act constructively and respond constructively. Love. Instead of praying for an outcome, I pray for the highest good for all. Isn't that so sweet? Oh my God, that's exactly what this is. That's exactly what this is. Instead of focusing so much on the outcome of the vision coming into the world exactly the way that you saw it, instead of praying for an outcome, I pray for the highest good for all. So I hope that this creative process is going to be so freaking much fun and so freaking like wonderful for the entire team and for me and for you. Like this is going to be so, just things come together and sparks fly. Kind of like, I think this love is about what you bring to your creativity. I think that you actually you share your love for art, you share your love for people by bringing them into your ideas and working together toward them. I think that this is how you show love for life. Not only that you love what you do and you're very joyful about what you do, but I think that this is how you sometimes feel like your best self is in this creative process. You sometimes feel like, maybe, like, I'm not just a hard worker. Sorry, I'm shaking the camera again. But you sometimes feel like, I'm not just a hard worker or a visionary. I'm not just a hard worker or a visionary. I love creating. And I love the people that it brings me to, and the stories that we share together, and the experiences that we share together. This is so awesome. I think that this is how you make your best connections interpersonally. I think, again, this love that you have for this entire process is why people see you in the end as this beaver energy, because because that's why you're able to give people, you know, ways to improve, and then things that they're doing amazing, because you do see, you take the time to see the little things about not just the creative project, but also about the people that are doing it. You see the people that are engaging in creation, and you think, yes, there is my kindred spirit. They understand the love I have for creating. And so then you nurture those parts of them, and you're like, here, I found this, have this. Isn't it joyful? I love this. I love creating. Don't you love creating? Me too. Like, here you go. And I think that's why people are so charmed by you, is that they find this so like nurturing and so genuine. And I think that the combination, like I said, you're such a balanced person. Like, everything just kind of comes together, and I think that this is like, you're already succeeding. You're already doing so great, right? You're doing so great. The only thing, it's like this tiny little caveat, it's like, by the way, but just like, take a breather sometimes. It's like the universe, spirit, whatever, has already knows that you've got this. You've got this down. You are so killing it. It's just a tiny little thing, just like, by the way, just like a mom that is sending their kid off to the school bus, and they know that the kid is going to do great at school and they're going to have a great time or whatever. I don't know if anybody has a great time in school, but like, I'm sure some people do. I don't know. It's just an image. Think of it as a Hallmark commercial image or whatever. Not don't look at it too deep, okay? It's just a metaphor. But the parent is like sending their kid off on the bus or whatever, and is like, you're going to do great, sweetie. I love you. I'm proud of you. I know that you're going to do wonderful. Just remember to take a breath whenever you get mad, okay? Okay, love you. Like, that's the energy of this reading for you, pile 3. This is the universe loves you and knows that you're gonna do great. I have every confidence in you. Just remember, for your own sake, for everybody's sake, just like, okay, go ahead. Like, so it's not the outcome, it's the process. You already know. It's like a part of you knows that it's the process. You know that it's the process that you love and that you find the most meaning and fulfillment in. It's just that sometimes, because you're looking at all the details, you kind of like get lost in them for a second, and you just need just a moment, just like I said, 5 minutes, 5 seconds to recalibrate and go, oh yeah, no, okay, I'm back, okay, we're good, guys. It's not the end of the world. Yeah, we're good. All right, but yeah, that's the end of your reading, because the universe knows that you got this. My God, I wish that I had some of your qualities. I mean, you know, I'm selling myself short probably, but like, this is so great. This is such a good feeling. So balanced, so creative. I love this. I love y'all's reading, pile 3. Yeah, and I know that you're gonna have, even if it's not exactly the outcome that you expected, you're gonna have a great, amazing outcome, and like meaningful process, meaningful time. This joyful culmination of like, we did it. We did it. We did it, guys. I love that. Alrighty. Alrighty, pile 3. Like I said, this is the end of your reading. Thank you so much for taking the time and for letting me do this reading for you today. let's see. So I guess I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.